Hi, it's Ed. I'm here with Kuda Chinhara, or Kuda for short, bit easier to say, lovely bloke. We are talking about, well, he's going to talk because he's the clever one here, about his script that automates the ad writing for my 23 pillars of ad copy playbook. So Kuda, give us a 30-second, where have you been? What have you done with your life?
All right, 30 seconds. I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm actually there right now. I live in London, been doing Google Ads for about 18, 20 months or so. Got introduced to Ed through Got Your Ads, really found that extremely useful. And then just started playing with the concepts in there, trying to automate some things, which led us to today.
For someone that's been doing Google Ads for just shy of 2 years, I think you're pretty smart, to be fair. So, and you're doing this bit that I can't do. So just as a background for people, firstly, if you're watching this and you're not a God tier ads customer, or you don't have the 23 pillars, you're probably like, well, is this for me? Yes, at the end of the video, there's a promo call to action to grab the 23 pillars for like $5 or something, which is ridiculous because this will save you lots of time. So essentially, currently inside it is a playbook for the 23 pillars of ad copy, an responsive search ad template, and then a ChatGPT prompt, which would write the adverts for you. And Kuda has just essentially put it on steroids. So he's improved it dramatically. So it's not just a prompt now, it's sort of like a self-improving agent. It's pretty cool. So that's what we're going to share today, which is probably what I should have said at the start of the video, but it doesn't matter. So we're going to share that today. So should we do this bit of screen sharing?
Okay. Hopefully right now you are looking at the script section of a Google Ads account.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a script, not that many lines of code. It starts off by making a copy of this Google Sheet. And inside that Google Sheet, you will see the Settings tab. And on that Setting tab, the most important thing you'll need to enter is your API key from OpenAI. You can choose which model you want to use. We're just going to use the cheaper model today. And there'll be an example of the sort of costs associated with running the prompt. A couple of other inputs you're going to need on that Google Sheet are, first, business clarity. So of course, if you've got your ads, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. You want to copy and paste those answers from your client regarding their clarity in this cell. Then in here, you want to add 2, 3, maybe a few more of your most important search terms, your most important keywords, followed by 2 to 3 dense reviews, very descriptive reviews about the business, about the service. Final thing would be USPs. You want to put in a few of your USPs in here as well. Once that is done and you run the script, it is going to take first the prompt. These are the prompts that were supplied in 23 pillars of ad copy, and it will produce headlines, descriptions, and also I think that right at the end there was that website headlines section. It will then evaluate that output. It's got a critique agent which evaluates the output, as in those headlines, descriptions, etc., and then rewrites this prompt to get a better response the next time you run it. It will then put those new prompts out here. And if you then want to use them afterwards, you just select this checkbox, and after every single run, the prompt starts improving, and you can literally see your output in terms of the headlines, the descriptions changing. So, do you want a quick run of it?
Yes. Quick question. Well, just to clarify for people watching, the existing prompt inside the 23 pillars. So if someone doesn't want to use the API, is the prompt still useful, or have you updated the prompt as well?
This is the prompt here, right?
Right.
This is the basic prompt from 23 pillars. I've left that in there as a raw starting point for what they will see is the improvements happening in this section.
So if you're don't want to use the API, you can still use the prompt just on the free version. But if you plumb the API in, I say plummeted, you literally copy and paste your API key, which you and I can do. You get these optimized prompts, which is pretty cool. And I love the fact when you start talking about these, your camera's in automatically, like dramatically intensified camera work, because you're talking about optimized prompts. But yeah, run it. Let's see what this bad boy can do.
So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to run preview, go to the logs, and he's started. It's taking in the inputs, and it'll soon be making the API calls. And then we'll hop over to the Google Sheet, and you should start seeing it throw out some output. Okay, there we go. So API call is happening. Is the response from the large language model. It's also giving us the costs that will be output to the Google Sheet. It is now critiquing its output on the headlines. So if we go in here, on the Outputs tab, soon you're going to see it pop in a whole bunch of new headlines. Here you can see all the runs I've been doing, bit of testing earlier today. But at this point, yep, it is rewriting the prompt. So it's optimizing the prompt. And yeah, now it's writing the output. So let's go to the Google Sheet, and there we go. There are our headlines. It's given us 15 headlines. Those are just popped through. Gives you the classification for that headline, character count, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes, yeah, because that's in the prompt, right?
Yeah.
In that prompt from Kuda Chinhara. But this is something you're going to find, right? As with large language models all the time. It's not always going to follow instructions. It's given us a headline that's too long.
Yeah.
But most of them are all good. Right now, it's probably going to be heading into the description section, but I can just show you in the costs. It's going to tell us that the headlines cost 3 cents to write. Something
that probably would take you, I don't know, a good 15 minutes, maybe more, to write properly if you give it some consideration. If you were going to do all the research that the prompt does, a lot longer. So it's a good trade-off for a few pennies, I think.
Yeah.
And that output column where it shows you the type of headline, so call to action, pun, a generic USP, that sort of thing. If you don't know how to use those, also here's the sales pitch again. Inside 23 pillars is the RSI template, where I literally give you a breakdown of roughly how many headlines you need and of what sort of type, just to give you an idea of how to populate these. So you don't have to use every single headline. 7 to 8 is your sweet spot. If you can do 15 that are unique and good, great. But that's how you sort of pair up the type of headline with your RSA advert. You don't have to put all 15 in, because some of them might be a bit, weak. But yeah,
I think it's almost done. It's probably doing that final bit. Yes, the web headlines. There they are. Just pop those out as well. And if we go to the final tab, we'll see the cost for those. So here we go. That full process, which should now be complete, 21 cents for the headlines, but also optimizing the prompt for the headlines, descriptions, web headlines. And your full outputs are there.
So what can you buy for 21p? Well, when I was a kid, you could buy 21 penny sweets, but they're not 1 penny anymore. So I think you probably buy 5 sweets for that. So it's a good trade-off. So you've now got your output, but it's also re-engineered the prompt.
Yes, a new prompt will be in here. Or in fact, you can even start on the critique and see where it's finding strengths in the output, areas for improvement, and the suggestions for the prompt improvement. And then, of course, it feeds that back into itself and uses all that. And I mean, there's a lot it puts into the critique agent, and then feeds that into creating the new optimized prompt.
So this is like so every time you run it, essentially it's compounding. It improves every single time. I mean, it can't improve indefinitely, can it? It'll get to the point where it's...
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's still very interesting to be able to rerun it with a improved prompt that it's improved for you. So then you get new results. And then if you run it again, you'll get another prompt, and it's sort of ad infinitum. So every time, you might only use this once a month, but every time you come back, you'll get a refreshed prompt, which I think is cool. I like it. It's like it's had a thought. It is sentient. No, it's not. But yeah, brilliant.
It's just an enhanced workflow.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Right, and that's it. I mean, we don't need to over egg it. It's simple. It does the job for you. So that's now part of the 23 pillars as of watching this video. So big thanks to Kuda for that. Call to action will be somewhere you can download it. $5, tip my butler, whatever, or Kuda's. But you've got more to come. So do we dangle a carrot about what you're working on? Because there's some cool stuff.
Absolutely, because I mean, we're only limited by our imagination when it comes to the large language model tools. I hate calling it AIs. Let's stick to calling it large language models, because for example, we could have this running constantly back in the background where we're checking ad groups that have multiple ads. We could pause the losing ads and replace them, but instead of manually giving the agent the inputs just as we have in this simplified version, we'd have it draw on the agent we've developed for ad recon, which is another great part of Gartier ads. Want to do some ad recon, which is for those important search terms, scrape the search engine results page for the ads, all the sponsored content. So we're pulling all the competitor ads, graded them objectively based on that framework, find where all the gaps are being left. Perhaps they're all too feature heavy. No one's mentioning enough benefits, not enough use of numbers. Maybe something as basic as not having high enough density of the search term in headlines and descriptions. But then there's another part of that agent which then draws on for those businesses that have a lot of customer reviews. It'll go do a very deep analysis of those reviews. And here we only supplied 2 reviews, but some businesses can have 100 reviews, and we can pull those in and start finding very strong patterns in what customers have said about the business. And then that starts going into filling the gaps we'd have found with our competitor ad recon. It will then create ads, and we'll just give it a little functionality to start picking headlines and descriptions that give us a high score. Because at the end in ad recon, You've got that score where typically most ads are scoring like 4s and 5s, good ads about 7 and 8s. But what if we want ads that always score double digits and above? So we'll then say filter out, and just start giving us combinations of headlines and descriptions that give us a double digit score. Now put that into the ad group. Let's see how that goes for a month.
I love this template and the way that it reimagines itself and improves itself. But before this, you have to do input. So the clarity sheet, your client's business or the business you work for, whatever, you have to put some inputs in there. You've got to understand the business. But the ad recon comes before that. It's actually a manual process. It's probably the best single piece of training I've ever done. If you want it, you can literally sign up to my email list, edlead.com, and it's one of the emails that comes through. I dump loads of freebies at people. It's a really powerful manual process, and it does have a positive impact. It really does. It's one of the best things I've ever done, like I say. And I share it with clients. Used to share the recon process with clients, and they'd be like, oh, wow, I didn't know so-and-so was doing this, that, and the other. But it takes quite a bit of time. So if I say Kuda can automate that, and then you've got the ad copy stuff. I mean, that's a big chunk of work, clever work, impactful work, performance boosting work, typically. Not, replacing ad copy doesn't always work out, but you can retest. Then, this is a great use of LLMs, AI, to replace a big chunk of, time-consuming work. So, it's brilliant. So I'm excited to see that come out in the future as well. Thank you very much, Kuda. Where can people find you if they want to pick your, not pick your brains. If you want to pick his brains, you have to pay him. He's, what are you, $500 an hour? I can't remember. 1,000. But Kuda's available for consulting, anything to do with AI, LLMs. Kuda, where can people find you?
Best place would be LinkedIn, Kuda Chinhara on LinkedIn. You can drop me a message or connect with me, and happy to chat from there.
Brilliant. I'll put Kuda's social links in the description. I'll probably pin it in the first comment as well. Say a big thank you for him working on Gartier ads and 23 pillars. And if you're an existing customer, you get this for free. So free updates for life. If you want this, there'll be a call to action somewhere. There'll be a discount. You can get it for peanuts. So click the button, download it, and away you go with that. And then any updates we do to it in the future, you'll get as well. So it's brilliant. So that was my sloppy ending call to action. I've only been doing this about 15 years. I'm still crap at it. But thank you very much, Kuda. And until the next time, thanks everyone else for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I don't think I've said that in a video for a long time. Yay. Oh,
Brilliant.
God, I'm so shit at this.